Hello and welcome to another episode of Faith and Freedom. I've been having some conversations with some folks, some freedom loving Christians, and some just general freedom loving people in general. And I'm not sure where we'll be when this gets released in terms of the mask mandate that Kathy Hochul issued statewide, but it's technically supposed to cover everything, right? So churches, businesses, and I'm going to focus mainly on the business part, right? So this mask mandate forces the businesses to choose between requiring their patrons to wear masks or asking for vaccine identification at the door, in which case it would be up to them as whether or not to allow to wear masks. Now, some of the county executives and other county leaders have said that they're not going to have the resources to fight this, so they're not going to enforce it, or not going to have the resources to enforce it, so they're by default not going to enforce it. But the state still could enforce it. Like if there is someone, say, a state trooper would be authorized, I guess, to enforce this. So would state liquor control authority or any other state agent like that. Now, whether or not they're going to or not, I don't know. But the threat is there, and this is what I see, and I've been thinking about. I see a lot of people saying, we have to defy these mandates. We have to resist this tyranny, or this is going to go on forever, and it's not going to get better. And I feel that. I don't like mask mandates. I don't like vaccine passports, and I hope it all goes away soon. And I really don't like the direction that our government's headed, especially state and nationally. And I don't like the fact that our local government isn't a little bit more courageous and stiff to this. But here's the thing, right? I don't want to let my emotions, and I don't think you should let your emotions around this whole mask and vaccine mandate blind us to the other side of God-given liberties and freedoms that we value and cherish. And one of those, which for me, I think is a biggie, and for what this country was founded on and what libertarianism stands for, is private property, right? So someone's right to do what they wish to do with their home, their business, or property that they own, and that goes along the lines of posting property against trespassing. Say if you're a hunter, it also goes to what you want to do in your own house and who you want to associate with. But let's take this to the business level, right? So I'm Joe Schmo, private. Say I own a lunch counter, right, in New York, and these mandates come down, and I am absolutely terrified. I'm running as thin as I possibly can on the margins, just enough to make it, pay my wait staff, pay my cooks, and feed my family. And this mask mandate comes down the pipe. And sure, my county executive said that he's not going to enforce it, but I see state police cars drive by, the street that I live on once in a while, and it's $1,000 fine per person. So I have to make that cost benefit analysis of whether I want to be the courageous business owner that wants to take the chances and put the sign on the door that says your mask or your face, your choice. And maybe I would have the courage to do that as a business owner. Some business owners might not have the courage to do that at this point and not be able to take that risk. So let me enforce this again. I am not in favor of the government coercing them into this corner, but we as freedom-loving Christians need to respect their decision that's based on a lot of factors, no matter what that is. And if you barge in there without a mask when they have a sign on the door that says masks required, you are essentially trespassing. You are coming onto that person's private property without something that they want you to have on. And here's an understandable example, right? So if you come over to my house, when you come in the door, I want you to take your shoes off. if you're going to come in and sit down and have a drink or have dinner with me. And you might come in and say, hey, my shoes are clean. I didn't step in any of that dog poop I saw over your yard. Is that okay? And I said, no, that's just the rules of the house. I mean, I don't. It's not a question of whether your shoes are dirty or not. It's that this is my house, and that's what we do, right? So just because we don't agree with the principle or something, and maybe there's other people that they have, they don't have any area rugs. They have nice tile floors that are easy to clean up, even dried dog poop, and that's fine for them, right? So I just don't want us to get lost in our emotional angst around all this COVID stuff and start stepping on other people's God-given rights for the sake of us being so proud and concerned about our right to not wear a mask or not take a vaccine. Now here's the other side of this, right? If me as a consumer right now has a choice to go to either Bob's Diner, who has a sign on the door that says masks strictly required, no entry without a mask, or Andy's Diner down the street that says your face, your choice, come on in, we love freedom. I'm gonna pick Andy's Diner, right? And hopefully enough people will do that to where Bob Steiner will get the point and be like, hey, if I adopt the policy to Andy's Diner, I'm going to make more money, and maybe what I can absorb, maybe that $1,000 fine, or at least give the courage to mark down the road. And now you got 3 full diners of owners that value freedom and are willing to defy these unconstitutional mandates, and that's great, but for right now, we got to respect the business owner's decision to evaluate the risks. Now, it gets a little dicey, right? When you have somebody who has, say, a medical condition like asthma or any sort of problem respiratory wise. In that respect, that's a hard spot, and I really haven't thought that out. I think those folks are in a tough spot, honestly. They can either suffer through wearing the mask, or if it were me, I would, and say this is a situation of a business, and you don't have an alternative business that offers, the option of not wearing a mask, and you have to go into, say, Dollar General to get toilet paper. It's an emergency. I would put your mask on and maybe find the most important looking person in the store and just be like, hey, I have a respiratory condition. Can I maybe take this off and just keep my distance from everybody? And I think that would go well, versus just, going in there without anything on. Of course, the situation by situation thing. If you don't have a mask on you, maybe you tiptoe in or tell whoever's at the door. And in a sense, we're all in uncharted territory in this. In a sense that we're still open, but now we have this weird, crazy mask mandate, and we're going to have to figure out how to navigate it. And I don't want people to think that I'm saying that every business should just go ahead and comply with this. I'm saying if a business chooses to adopt that policy, whether we agree with where it's coming from or not, we have to respect the final decision of that business owner's policies as part of respecting their private property rights, which is a huge thing that this country was founded on. If we lose bodily autonomy in health, freedom of healthcare choices and private property, if we lose respect for that as a society in America, we're done. So be careful in standing up for your rights, that you don't trample on other important rights of this country. So thank you for listening to me ramble on about that for a little while, and I'll catch you next time on Faith and Freedom.